Hey y'all, back again, same spot, and now I may have everything optimally calibrated, so it'll be interesting to see if you watch this video with the same environment that I filmed within one of my first DJI Ronin-S field test videos. If you watch that one and then compare it to this, still doing the 25mm lens, f8 aperture. You can check the link within this video's description to find the lens and obviously the camera body that I'm using as well. Same setup I was using for my first field test video at this same location. So although you may notice a little bit of bouncing up and down while I walk, I'm curious about the overall stability of the video. My original field test, although I followed the DJI documentation that came with my Ronin-S, I watched the DJI video online, and to the best of my knowledge I had everything set up, but apparently I didn't, because after listening to your feedback and performing tons of hours of research, I discovered that the roll axis was one thing that was off. Let's do some sweeps right here, really slow and steady. Now I'm not holding the front trigger on the Ronin, so it'll be interesting to see if you know how this looks. Now I'm going to do a pan, but I'm going to do a pan with a joystick. So we're going to go to the right here. Keep an eye on the horizon, see if it stays level. Okay, so that's pan to the right, going to pan to the left. I do have the motor set to slow, and I did perform an auto motor calibration. So that was another enhancement that I made after filming my first video. Or actually after filming my first few videos, because it took a while to figure it out. Now we're going to test the tilt. We're going to go up. We're just going to take it all the way up, as far up as it'll go. Okay, now we're going to go down. I'm going to go faster. Actually, that's top speed as I've got it configured. Now I'm going to double tap the front trigger. 1, 2. It's kind of a slow double tap. Now that returns to center. Now I'm going to triple tap the front trigger, and that should put the camera on me. Again, with this Sony a7 III, I do not have a front-facing viewfinder, so I can't tell if I'm in the camera's field of view. But I have a pretty good feeling that I am, considering I'm looking directly at the lens, and this being a 25mm lens, it's somewhat wide. Let's do a little bit of walking here. I'm holding two hands on the Ronin-S, one on the tripod extension on the bottom that's folded down so it becomes an extended grip, and then my right hand on the primary grip where the battery is. It is worth mentioning, several people had commented about the battery button towards the bottom and how it's easy to push that if you're hand holding. I agree that could be better placed, or there could be a switch that goes over it so you can't accidentally do that. But from my experience, with holding one hand at the very bottom and one up on the grip, my hands don't even come close to that. But I could see if your hand slipped, how that could become a potential issue. Gonna double tap. So I got that figured out. First field test video, I was having a problem figuring out the taps and what they do. So double tap takes you back home to center, and then triple tap turns it around towards me. Now let's do some tests here. I'm gonna go down with this, so I'm about knee high, and I'm gonna walk. When I did this during one of my first few tests, it messed up, and the camera just seemed to get a mind of its own, and it was spinning around and flipping and everything, and after performing more research and listening to your comments, I discovered that that may have been the motor strength. There had been some recommendations to go high with motor strength, but actually this video is being filmed with low motor strength with you know, with the auto tune, as I mentioned earlier. Okay, so now let's go low to high. So we're gonna go, this is held pretty much straight down now, and I'm just gonna bring my arm up. Now it's above my head. So now I'm gonna go from above my head down low. And one thing I can tell you about this, just having it in my hands, is that I don't feel that jerkiness that I felt during my previous field test. And I think a lot of that may be due to the fact that, again, that I've got the motor strength set to low, but also I think my roll axis is now perfectly calibrated. And that was one of the points of failure with the original configuration, even after watching you know, DJI's tutorial. When they got to the roll axis piece, it wasn't really straightforward as to how one would adjust that. And there was another guy on YouTube, he had a video, and basically what he did, he had everything adjusted except for the roll axis, and he put the Ronin-S in one hand, tilted it to the left, and then he tilted it to the right. And based upon how the camera started to fall, that's how he determined if that roll axis was properly calibrated. So I gave him a thumbs up, subscribe to his video, because that was a huge clue. And you know, a lot of y'all in the comments, you've shared a lot of stuff with me, the stuff about you know, checking your motor strength, and that's been huge. Also running the auto motor calibration. So I mean, there's a lot of variables that came into play to achieve this level of quality. And you know, to have a device like this that is geared towards providing exceptionally smooth video quality, when it wasn't providing that, you can imagine how disappointed I was. So, you know, this video, I started messing with this thing, I unboxed it on Friday. And at the time of filming this video, it's already Wednesday. So it has taken me this long to achieve these results. Now, I don't want to scare people away. I know a lot of people have read negative reviews online about the Ronin-S, and you know, I don't want to scare you away. I think it's if this looks exceptionally smooth, then that's, you know, that's what someone would want to know if they're interested in the gimbal stabilizer, because the build quality of this is great. And you know, and being a long-term DJI user for drones, you know, that's what kept me coming back. If this had been another manufacturer, I may have written it off as a dud a few days ago and not spent any more time, you know, troubleshooting and trying to perfect the balance. But, you know, since it was a DJI product, I felt fairly confident that, you know, given their years of experience, that they wouldn't put out a piece of junk. And then also the build quality of this. I mean, this in your hand, I mean, it feels like a pro quality tool. So, let's see, we're gonna do some other videos. This is just my first field test. Now I'm gonna double tap to center. Oops, I triple tap. 1, 2. Double tap to center. And yeah, we're gonna do some other videos. I'm gonna walk around a little bit more, but just kind of wanted to talk through everything that's been done to achieve this level of quality. Now what we're gonna do is kind of just look at some objects really quick. So there's a power meter, or whatever you want to call it. How cool is that? So we got that. And now I'm going to hold the trigger, the front trigger, and go forward. There's a cobweb up there, so I kind of went down. So yeah, if you're looking for a gimbal stabilizer, I think this quality probably speaks for itself. And another comment before I conclude this video that I felt was important, and by the way, I'm still holding the trigger, so let me walk around and continue to hold this trigger. See what kind of look we get. But yeah, one thing I wanted to mention is that, at least currently at the time of posting this, with the Sony, see now even though I'm walking the other way, it's still going that way because I'm holding the trigger. Now when I release the trigger and double tap, it's going to return to center. But yeah, one minor complaint is that, and I don't have a GH5, but people that have a GH5, they can simply plug in their USB cable into the side of the Ronin-S, and not only do they get the ability to control the shutter and, you know, stop and start recording, snap photos, whatever, but they also get the ability to control the focus wheel on the side. So why Sony? I mean, maybe Sony just needs to release a firmware update for the Sony Alphas or something, or maybe DJI needs to release something, because it seems silly that such a popular camera, mirrorless camera, the Sony Alpha, in my case the A7 III, that you can't simply use the USB-C or micro USB port on the A7 III to control the camera. You've got to run this glorified remote controller, and I say that because all it is a cable that has an infrared tip, just like a like a remote control for a camera. So all that it's doing is it's being positioned right in front of the infrared port, and it's controlling the shutter. So that's less than optimal. I mean, it works, but again, you've got to have it positioned properly, otherwise your record button presses may fail. I haven't had any problems with it since I positioned it right in front of the IR receiver on the camera, but it's it's kind of goofy looking. I mean, to have such a high quality rig and then have, you know, a little cable dangling off of it just doesn't, it dulls down the level of professionalism, in my opinion. But tell me what you think. Again, this is just my first field test after I feel 99.9% confident that everything should be perfectly balanced and configured. Tell me what you think. Check the link within this video's description. You can find where to order the Ronin-S there. If this is creating the quality that I think it is right now, it's been worth every penny. We're gonna walk around really quick here. Oh, check this out. Ooh, that could hurt. Thanks for watching, and y'all have a good day, and be sure to subscribe. youtube.com/IrixGuy. Hey y'all, IrixGuy here. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to subscribe, like, and share. It's viewers like you that enable my channel to continue to grow. Thank you.